So on Jed's guitar, I've got a Helios EQ. There's a couple tricks to this plugin. There's a little bit of a secret. One of the coolest things on the Helios EQ plugin is what happens when this gain gets between 10 and 15. All of a sudden, it gets a lot of character. I'm just going to loop this and mess around with it. One of the other cool things, and this is something that I think Richard Dodd helped out with UAD, is when you use this EQ in the real world, as soon as you turn on the low end right here, it adds bottom to the signal, even if you don't turn the gain up. The first iteration of this plugin didn't do that because it didn't make sense to them to add low end when you weren't putting any gain, but the actual module does that, and it sounds really cool. I use it all the time on guitars. It may be subtle on this, but check it out. It just puts a little thickness into the guitar. It's a super useful way to just add a little fullness to guitars, a secret that Helios was always good at. I love this plugin, especially this setting on acoustic guitars. This emulates a weird quirk of the Neve VR console, which is when you roll off the top end and then add it back in, it makes a really interesting sheen. So check this out. What's happening here is this roll off is all the way down at like 8.5K, cutting off the top end. So if you open that up, this is up here at 11.5 something, almost dimed. But for some reason, when you cut the top and then add it back in, I don't know why, but it tames the extreme top end, but lets the articulation comes out. It kind of opens up the guitar without it getting too much buzzy on the top end. It leaves some room for stuff in the vocal and in the drums. It's an old trick that came off of the way the console used to work, and I use that on acoustics all the time. So essentially, this setting is nothing on the dynamics, very little to nothing on the rest of the EQ. The high cut is, say, 8.5K, and then you just take wherever the high end sounds good between 8 and 12 and just keep turning it up. And it really puts some nice articulation on the guitar.